So this is the actual deer stand they have at Buc'ees. They don't have a newspaper, but you can buy a deer stand. So basically you just go right in here. There's the door. This is at Buc'ees, and you just pull this down right here and shoot all the deer you can all day long. Couldn't really show you, but it's the plastic right there. It's a deer stand. About $1,000. You just set it up there and just plug away all day long. Anyway, and it's called Uncle Dan's USA. Uncle Dan's USA right here. Deer stand at Buc'ees. Place. I'm moving to my other place, which I'm not going to tell you the exact location, but you can clearly see I've got some important items right here, and some coffee and water and things like that. This is really tough for me. I'm not given all the time in the world to do this, so I'm in the garage right now. See the light, but that's a little full right there. And we're gonna be taking off here. So it's September 26th, about 11:26 a.m. and we're off. So I invite you to join me on this journey of moving and also of dropping off food for people throughout the day. Thanks for coming along. Come on, it'll be great. So I'm basically downgrading to save on money, and I'm losing a few things, like I'm not gonna have a microwave, which isn't a big deal. I can always get another microwave. I don't know. It's not necessarily that. It's not losing an appliance or anything, but the place is smaller and it's not as convenient. I've gone through this before, so I've lived in all different types of apartments. I've even lived in a house one time as a rental house, but I've never owned my own home. And it, just like every other American, it's probably going to eventually become a dream of mine, and a long journey. To be honest, I've never really ever imagined me owning my own home. If that happens, I would probably put that in the hands of God, because that would be a miracle with everything I've been through. I guess I've been an actor most consistently, something that's been on my mind for at least 30 years, but within that journey, I've also written books and poetry and songs and things like that, and got into videography and making video logs eventually. Painting is something I'd also like to get to do more. I did a little bit of painting. Well, it wasn't really painting, it was more like drawing and using different types of pencils and things like that. Linda bought me an art kit at Walmart, so I got to do this reproduction of Rain Man, a 1980, I think, 1980. I have to find the date on that, but anyway, the year of Rain Man, but with Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman. I did a reproduction of one of the posters. So it's a small thing on canvas. I thought about doing more of that kind of stuff. It helps with filmmaking and videography. But now I'm in the process of moving across town, so I'm leaving Carrollton, which I just vlogged Carrollton. I didn't really try to hide where I was, not the apartment or anything. For security reasons, I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start being more secretive. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I know I'm a unique person and hard to deal with. I say a lot of things that are oddball, eccentric, and sometimes even radical. And I apologize if I lose you on some of those things. Because sometimes maybe what I think is a joke, you take seriously, and what I think is serious, you take as a joke. So, thank you. Anyway, I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so I looked it up. It's 1988 when Rain Man, directed by Barry Levinson, came out, and Zimmer did the music. So it's a pretty. I didn't know he did the music, but it's an awesome film if you ever see it. It's one of the classics, but that's what the reproduction I did on the canvas. I was going to do Best Picture reproductions of movies, so like Silence of the Lambs, Rain Man, stuff from the 80s, just to mess with color. And it's interesting because when you start redrawing the movie stars' faces, you pay attention to, what they look like when you're drawing, and it comes off as kind of caricature. It was kind of one of those things. It was a 1988 film is what I was thinking of. Listening to College and Electric Youth. Really great band. You hang in there, critter, okay? Stop being so quiet and mysterious. We know people like you. You're a friend of all men and women alike. You'll be just fine. The cat for all people. Well, I got a few more boxes dropped off and got moved in to the new place. Car passed me. It said, "It's not a religion, it's a relationship." I agree. This one's pretty cool. Yosemite, List Willie, Deep Brewery. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 8 stickers on the back windshield. Pretty cool. Well, I decided to eat healthier, so I got a turkey with everything on it, all veggies, olive oil and vinegar, with 2 jalapenos and extra banana peppers. I get like every single veggie. So. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf, less hot dogs. Oh, and I wanted to try these things right here. This Buc'ees lime cracked pepper. So it's a kettle potato chips. Up here it says that they're basically help us build homes for the habitat. So that was kind of cool. That's kind of why I got it. Anyway, that's for a snack. And the sandwich is in here. See it in there. Probably have that later. Now, to make this clear, as Christians, we are men, but we're also kind of the child man, because it clearly states in the Bible that we are children of God. So there is adult in us, but we also have the child inside of us. McCormick McCarthy, great writer, he wrote about it too. But the Bible actually says that we are children of God. We are his children. Don't forget it. This is what the cracked pepper chip looks like. It's pretty good. And have some of this too. Good to hear it crack. A different type of crack. It's like it's a Arizona tea. All right, let's hit the road. So I used to work for Subway, and how you can tell it's a good Subway worker, it's not necessarily that they make the sandwich or that they, you know, give you the drink or whatever it is that they make. They'll make the sandwich in front of you. What makes them a really good Subway employee is that they at least put a single napkin in the bag, just one single napkin. So that's what makes them good, because they go the extra mile. So the garage parking for art in the square, I gotta fix that. It's art in the square. I thought it was art on the square. I'll fix that in just a minute. Okay, so we found some parking in South Lake Town Square, West Garage. So it's pretty good for art in the square. Some guy was honking behind me, being kind of rude. But I finally found a spot over here. I got to go by this sushi place and pick up some sushi for somebody. For a friend, for a customer, food for friends. So that's the parking garage west. Sushi's over here on the corner by the steak and seafood. So if you want to get some good sushi when you go art in the square, go off Grand Ave West. It's right here in the corner, right by Madison Reed Color Bar. Probably the best sushi in town. Pretty nice. He gave me a box, so I can use this for moving too. And it came with the order, so I guess it's nice to the drivers. Real respectful guy. Been in there a few times. Haven't tried the sushi, but it smells good. It's right there on the corner, Grand Ave West. There's also a store over there called Milan. If you do want to come here and shop, I would apply for a special loan at JP Morgan. Not the same as buying a house, probably. Over the next few days, you probably blow 20, maybe 30, 40, $50,000 at one punch here if you had a lot of money. I wouldn't do that, but you at least need that for a loan for a house nowadays. Just to get started. I mean, that's if you're getting into like a $400,000 or $500,000 home, or even $1 million home. You're still gonna need at least that much cash or money. Times are changing. Now, about the $20,000 or $30,000 cash loan from like a bank or whatever, the reason I say that is because my second wife and I, and my 3 kids, or at that time it was 2 kids and one was on the way, a total of 3, but it was before we actually moved out of our rental home. We were going to buy it. We were short about $20,000, which isn't too short. The landlord could have gone down $20,000 on the house, but he chose not to. So I called him and I was like, Roth, you know, it's only $20,000. I can pay you over a period of time. No, his name wasn't Roth. What was his name? That's right. It was Arlen. And I said, Arlen, I could probably pay you, over time. We can make a deal on it. He chose not to help. What's funny is he was part of the church that Angel and I actually went to. I will confess, I got angry. I got very angry. I did two things. The first thing I did was I began writing a screenplay about it. That's usually what I do sometimes. I've been writing a film, and that film was called Once in a Lifetime. And that was a screenplay. It was very racy. And the second thing is I called him, and I got very, very angry with him, which I shouldn't have done. Sorry, Arlen. But as landlords and owners, we have to learn to use mercy and grace. That $20,000 would have probably have changed my life, and I would have been in a house worrying about a mortgage. Now I'm delivering sushi and moving into a lower end place in a secret city. It's Fort Worth, but a secret area. Anyway, that's what I was talking about, the $20,000 of the loan that, you could get to get a house, meaning everybody needs a different amount of money to get into a house. We happen to just need $20,000 only. And also it has to do with debt to income ratio. So that's a big thing too. Anyway, I got to go. I got to drop off the sushi. But the screenplay is called Once in a Lifetime. It's a film. If you want it, just email me. I can send it to you. It's got a lot of different characters. It's also about rideshare. It's about Uber too. It's a good film. It's about a family trying to start over. And in the film that I wrote, Once in a Lifetime, the guy's learning to deal with Uber, and he's leaving a bank, starting over. One of my good friends out of Fort Worth, he's an actor and playwright. He helped me with some of it. He's a true talent, true gifted guy, full of incredible amount of talent. Had a few friends help me with it. Ultimately, in the end, I do desire, and I do want to make movies. It's been an all-time dream. But not every filmmaker goes out to Hollywood and just strikes gold. Sometimes it takes time. Look at Terrence Malick's career. But it takes time before the green lights appear and the funding comes in. We're going into Art in the Square. I'm going to show you some of this. So this is mostly parking right here. I think that van, where that van is going, I think that's going to be some of it right there. Looks like some people are walking this way. You can hear one of the bands on the other side of Tyler's. They sound really good. They're tearing it up. Soccer Mom. That's cool. It's a place called Dance With Me over here. See if I can go by and listen to them for a second. Critter's sleeping. Or as they say, submarining. So Art in the Square, there it is. There's a ticket booth way over here. It's like they're doing a cover song. The female, she has a strong voice. Can't hear the guy. The drummer sound pretty incredible. Unfortunately, I have to drop off sushi for somebody right now. You're still watching though, aren't you? I wonder why. We'll turn this way. Here's a side part of it here. The wind just kind of carries her voice. Yeah, they kind of calm down a little bit. I guess they're getting ready for another song. All right, let's drop off the sushi. if you come to Art in the Square, this is a really nice park to walk through right here, around the corner of Central Avenue. Central and Main. And if you want to go to a grocery store and get something healthy, they have a Trader Joe's right here on the corner of South Lake Boulevard in Maine. Sorry, South Lake Boulevard in Central, to be exactly perfect. And they do have security, so there'll be the South Lake Police that will be helping out with the event. Looks like it's an art event as well, so they're gonna have art all along here if you want to sell your art. Of course, I'm not gonna go in there and sell one of my paintings for $20,000. I don't think they would, you know, what? $20,000? South Lake has probably about the same amount of revenue as Beverly Hills, if not more. They're just quiet about it. Actually, to be honest, we probably have 2 times the amount of revenue than Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills does look nice, but a lot of that is tied up in the bank. So it's not actually liquidated cash that they own. They're only owned, that's why a lot of those mansions are cleared out and new residents come in. Like, for example, Bradley Cooper may buy a place in Malibu. After a while, he'll move out and go into another mansion in another area because the bank owns that money. It's not owned, they don't have liquidated cash. That cash is controlled by large banks because of their names. It's different in South Lake. They actually own the liquidated cash, meaning they don't own the cash, but they have the cash. You got to realize this: there's only 2 different places in the United States of America where cash is printed: Washington, D.C. and Fort Worth, Texas. So if you just have a bank that's controlling your money and controlling what you are, you don't really have anything unless you actually have the liquidated cash, because they can always just change their minds. A lot of movie stars, it appears that they have 50, 60, 70, maybe $100 million, but that can change daily because they're almost like a product that's bought and sold. Out here, they actually own what they have. It's not being bought and sold all the time. It's a different situation. It's hard to explain, but I've been a banker for 4 years, so I understand this stuff. I'm not like cutting down movie stars, but they're only controlled like a product is controlled. It depends on how well they do, how well the movie goes. They can put $170 million online on a movie and lose everything. It happened to Randy Quaid. He had to move to Canada. So it's a different situation. Here, they actually own what you're seeing. So the revenue that's here is way more. That's why South Lake is one of the most wealthy places in the world, because they own the land. It's in their name. It can be liquidated right into cash, and all I have to do is go down the street to Fort Worth, the Federal Reserve. But they don't do that because they're mostly of, you know, Christian values. So they don't really kind of want it. It's just given to them because of who they are. It's a different type of wealth. It doesn't mean that movie stars don't have a lot of wealth. It just means that it's more volatile. It's a more volatile wealth if you're a movie star and you live in Beverly Hills or California. It's more likely to be lost because of how the banks deal with it and the person. There, it represents the person and their performance quality and their talent. Here, it represents more of kind of like land and ownership, like real ownership. But the lucky thing about a movie star is, especially if they're iconically famous, is it's almost impossible for them to completely lose out because they can always sell who they are. Meaning, their land's important and their mansions are important, but they themselves, they can always resell themselves. So it's a different type of wealth. Meaning, If they're famous, they can show up at events, gets paid that way. You know, they're always going to have revenue. That's what talent actually means. A talent comes from a coin. It actually means money. So when you call someone talented, you're basically saying you have the ability to have wealth. They mean the same thing. That's what talent actually is, a financial term that's been turned into like an artsy term, meaning you're gifted, you know. So they are fortunate, but it's a different type of revenue. Anyone that comes behind this vehicle, this Ford Explorer, knows that this person loves their Great Dane. I love my Great Dane. Okay. So you can see the cars are leaving now for the last day of Goodguy car show. Here's some of them right here. And now I gotta drop off some Panda. It's in No Limits, Texas. This is off of Woodside Drive, North Lake. This one's off Arbuncle, right before Sierra Meadow. Sierra Meadow and Arbuncle. The actor must do things that the character does, but they also must eat the same foods as the character, and drink the same things that the character drinks, so they know what they're ingesting. They can replace stuff, like they don't have to really smoke real cigarettes or drink alcohol, but they have to at least have the taste of what the character goes through at times. At least the actions of it. Well, lo and behold, we made it back to Buc'ees. Kind of the central point of all this, really, on this food delivery. Well, in this area, North Lake. Well, it looks like West Coast Choppers showed up. Pay up, sucker. It's foolproof, sucker-free. They're out of Austin, Texas. Since 1969. All right, so Celebrate Roanoke is a downtown festival, October 9th, from 12 noon to 9 p.m. It's live music, free family fun. The guy, the manager in this Dickies right here, he's very harsh. It's kind of like, think of Martin Scorsese's film, Gangs of New York. Remember the character Daniel Day-Lewis played? Well, he looks different, but he has kind of the same mentality. Go pick yourself up a piece of the meat before you leave. Well, I was able to pick it up. I wore this mask without my glasses on, so he didn't recognize me, so I didn't get any major problems. Well, this dickie's going to Justin, out in the middle of BFE, Texas.
Crossing.